Starting with the first component of the cell is the plasma membrane. This is the boundary from the inside of the cell from the rest of the world. It's composed of a double layer of lipids and proteins, which we call a bilayer. And we often call it a phospholipid bilayer because the majority of the membrane is composed of phospholipids, but it also has some proteins in it as well to help perform certain functions. So this is your phospholipid bilayer. It's called a bilayer because we have two layers of phospholipids, and we'll see on the next page that you have these heads, hydrophilic heads and hydrophobic tails, two rows of that coming together to form this bilayer. Again, this is essential for separating the inside of the cell, or the intracellular fluid, this is the inside of the cell, from the extracellular fluid or interstitial fluid, however the case may be. When we look at this up close, again, like I said, the lipids are the main component of the membrane. So we need to look at the composition of the membrane in terms of lipids and then separately as proteins. It's 75% phospholipids, that lipid bilayer I talked about. And what this is, each phospholipid has a polar and hydrophilic, meaning it loves water, okay? Loves water. If it loves water, it needs to be facing that extracellular and intracellular fluid regions. So on the outside of these bilayers, we have the heads because they're hydrophilic. And then each phospholipid head has hydrophobic tails, which my pen is not working. And these tails meet together in the middle with the tails of the layer below it. And this is what is forming that bilayer. So these tails are nonpolar and they're hydrophobic. They're water-fearing. There are other lipids that exist in the membrane. 5% of these lipids are known as glycolipids. These are lipids that exist in the membrane, but they'll have a sugar, a polar sugar, meaning they can interact with water, that are hanging out on the outside of the membrane. So here's an example here of a polar sugar that is attached to a lipid. These are usually used by other cells to recognize this cell in particular, or a cell. The remaining 20% of the membrane lipids that exist are cholesterol. And the cholesterol allows the membrane to have some stability and fluidity. If you recall from the previous slide, I said that the plasma membrane is a dynamically fluid membrane. What this means is that these things are not just stagnant. They're not like a piece of paper or a machine that has been made that is going to stay in its same place. These are fluid molecules, and so they are constantly kind of moving around or a little bit in motion. Due to their hydrophobicity or their hydrophilicness, they tend to stay together due to charges as well. So it's their molecular properties that keep them together. What helps it stay stable, for instance, and not really break apart, but seem almost hard, if you will, is this cholesterol, right? And so these lipids are essential components of the cell membrane. These big purple items you see here in the cell membrane are proteins, and we're going to talk about those next.